All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about harmless things for the most part, really, honestly, truly. Doing what I do in real time for like five people out here, just like you and just like me, except when I talk about the band Rush. All right. So I've said before, I'm not an expert on Rush. Okay. I will say this after the last video I did, the biggest complaint people have about Rush right now are the ticket prices. The ticket prices are insane to go see two-thirds of the original band with a new band member. And the new band member is getting kind of mixed reviews from the gallery, meaning the people that make comments. And so I'm just out here making a point that maybe this isn't going to be the greatest thing you've ever gone to see. I've made the point about the lead singer. He's a little past his prime. He's now 72 years old. And back 40 or 50 years ago, he used to hit ridiculous notes that only his voice was probably capable of doing at that time. And like countless other bands, you have a singer that has to sing these really high notes, and then they tune everything down. They sing it in a lower key. And a lot of the people don't even know that they're singing in a lower key. And then, of course, you've got artificial intelligence. And some people are even saying, yeah, let's just do the AI version of Rush. Other people have suggested that maybe a Rush tribute band might be a better representation of the music of Rush. All of these things are true across the board because what's happening again in this classic rock world is people are, it's like hanging on, like your hand is on the cliff and you're holding on by like one unsteady rock that's holding you in place. And if you hold on too tightly, you're going to lose control, to quote 38 Special, or you're just going to fall. You're going to fall to the ground. But here's the deal about this whole genre. Yes, it is on the verge of extinction, except for the fact that you can hand this music off to the next generation of people to perform it. Think of this, like, how about the Rush Rock Orchestra? How about that? You could do that with any band, the Yes Rock Orchestra. And this way, you bring elements of classical music into it. You get different vocalists who come in and who can hit all of the notes. Everything gets performed in the original key. It's a big production, and it's probably worth the money you're going to spend on it. Imagine like the Moody Blues Orchestra, right? Playing the music of the Moody Blues. Right now, you still have Justin Hayward. Right now, he could go out there and probably front that orchestra. But in the case of other bands, like Kansas would be an awesome example of this. Kansas Orchestra, right? Although, they're still out there as Kansas, and people are like, yeah, man, it's Kansas. I'm like, no, we're not in Kansas anymore. We really aren't. This is not sounding the way it used to sound. Yeah, they put on, everybody says, I go to the thing and I go to the show and they put on a great performance. Okay. But does it sound like the band you grew up listening to? Yeah. After a couple of beers, $14, $16 beers. And, after you've bought a whole bunch of merch and you've parked the car and you spent all this money, you're trying to justify this. You're like, yeah, this is good. But in the old days, your ticket stub was like 15 bucks and you got punched in the head with music. And I'm saying that in a good way. In other words, you weren't really worried about if the band could deliver. That wasn't a concern. This is why somebody needs to just do an intervention on all this stuff. And I'm out here thinking, okay, I love all this music, but when it doesn't sound good anymore, let's just be honest about it. But as other people have made comments about, people keep buying the tickets and they keep spending. The people like, I don't care. I want to see these two guys and the new drummer, and I don't care what you have to say about it. And then other people are like, I saw, like me, I saw this band in their prime, not Rush. I'm talking more about like Journey and other bands that I was fortunate enough to see, people like Paul McCartney and Elton John. I saw these people when they were still really, really amazing. And now you just root for them. I hope they can get through this performance. I hope their voice doesn't completely cut out. But that's no way to enjoy a concert, especially if you spent a lot of money. Look, if they were charging like $20 a ticket, and of course they'd sell out instantly, but they wouldn't make enough money. But I could see, yeah, $20 to go see whoever it is. People make fun of me because I say I'd rather go down the street to the blues bar. You know why? Because I know those guys are real. They're real. They may not be famous and they may not be the best musicians, but I got to say this, most of them are very good musicians, higher quality than the mainstream right now, because the mainstream is just living off their former selves and they can go out there and then they have to augment with all this technology. So they fool everybody into thinking that they're better than they ever have been. I mean, who was it? I mean, Kevin Cronin said, "We sound better than we've ever sounded before." I'm like, dude, how? I mean, first, there's no Gary Rich rap. Secondly, have you heard yourself sing recently? Do you put the headphones on when you sing? No, but I'm just saying, have you listened to the playback compared? Do an A/B comparison. 1980 REO. It's not fair, man. What you're saying is not fair. He's doing the best he can. All right, so lower the ticket prices down. Lower them down to the point where it's equal to his level of execution. That's what I'm thinking here. And people might be forgiving. They might say, you know what, for $15 or $20, it was all right. Was it like it was in 1980 something? No, it wasn't. But I don't care. I only spent $15. The parking was free. They lowered the t-shirt prices. I got a t-shirt for $20, and like you couldn't sell a t-shirt for $20 and turn a profit. Instead we got to jack them to 40 and 50. It's just stupid, and they know because people like us, we love to buy concert t-shirts. Hey, I went to this concert. Look at on the back. I got the tour dates and cool graphics on the front. And yeah, I was there and I'm walking through Walmart looking for flavored coffee and I got my t-shirt on. And I'm so cool, right? Even now, you want to portray that and project that. So getting back to the whole Rush thing, just to put a bow on this, again, don't watch me for Rush content. I'm just putting stuff out there randomly. I'm not an expert, and people like to say, you're just stupid. So why are you even commenting? Because I think it's ridiculous how long, no matter what band is continuing for too long. There are exceptions to this rule, but I'd say 80 to 90% of these people, they should wrap it up. Or think about wrapping soon, and don't do a 3-year farewell tour, and string everybody along. It's just a money grab. See, like in the case of Foreigner, they've revamped the entire band. So they can kind of keep going for as long as they want to. And that's my orchestra idea. Like whoever owns the name should assemble a rock orchestra for each band. Just like we have classical orchestras that play the music of Bach and Beethoven and Mozart and whoever else, or just general classical music, different pieces from different composers, and people go see the orchestras. And that's what should happen with this business as time goes on. If these are the Giants, the best that has ever been, which we can agree, right? The Beatles, imagine the Beatles orchestra would kick some butt. Rolling Stones orchestra, and of course, Mick is still around, Keith is still around, Ron. They could be in it for a while until they retired, and then they just pass the baton. They do a search for a singer who's got some Jagger swagger, and they rake in the dough, and their relatives, their family members for generations to come. And they maintain the integrity of the rock orchestra. And, they replace people when they start to go downhill and they require High quality musicianship and no artificial intelligence. None. Zero. Zip. I know it's so tempting. I mean, I could just do AI and not even do videos. I could put out AI versions of what I think each day and people would probably watch. I mean, I can make the AI person look good too. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling and I get a lot of complaints when I start to ramble. So here's the deal. Rock orchestras, good luck to Rush. I hope they kick ass on the road. Um, and you know what? It's just rock and roll, baby. It's not the end of the world. There are things that are more important, like putting gas in your car and having food on the table and having a relationship with God. I would say that at the end. I know people hate that too, but what are you going to do, right? This is who I am. This is what I talk about. And so just blessings to everyone as we enter the Thanksgiving season. We should be thankful for what Jesus did for us on the cross. And I'm not trying to be, Christian religious. I'm just telling you, it's a real event. It truly happened. It happened for a reason. Find out what it's about. If you already know, then good job. If not, it's your lifeline. That's it. Done. See you soon.